All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack the totally fascinating world of open source intelligence from the ground up. If you've ever wondered how investigative journalists manage to uncover hidden truths, or how cybersecurity teams literally anticipate attacks before they even happen, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're breaking down a discipline that is fundamentally changing how the world gathers information. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with defining OSINT, then take a look at the history of OSINT, the digital information explosion, how OSINT compares to other intelligence, some really cool government and commercial applications, and finally, a review and next steps. Okay, Section 1, Defining Open Source Intelligence. Let's get our foundational definitions straight. Now, the U.S. Department of Defense officially defines OSINT as intelligence produced from publicly available information, collected and exploited for specific requirements. But what does that actually mean for us? Basically, the crucial point here is that OSINT isn't just randomly Googling things on a Friday night. It is a highly structured, deliberate process of answering targeted intelligence questions using legal, public data, and then actually turning that data into actionable intelligence. What truly sets OSINT apart from general internet sleuthing is its strict reliance on legally accessible sources. That means absolutely no breaching of privacy and no breaking copyright laws. But keep in mind, public doesn't always mean free. OSINT heavily utilizes something called gray literature, which includes paid database subscriptions, commercial books, and specialized technical reports. The real magic happens at the very end of the funnel. It's taking all that dispersed, raw data and analyzing it until it transforms into real, actionable intelligence. Moving right along to Section 2, the history of OSINT. Let's take a quick look back in time. This isn't some brand new internet age concept. We can actually trace the origins of OSINT all the way back to ancient Roman emissaries who gathered public information to assess neighboring territories. Fast forward a bit to World War I, and militaries were rigorously monitoring foreign newspapers and analyzing public speeches. By World War II, the U.S. had established the Foreign Broadcast Information Service, specifically to monitor public radio broadcasts. And finally, we saw a massive, game-changing leap in the 1960s with the U.S. Freedom of Information Act, which gave rise to true computer-assisted research. Which brings us to Section 3, the digital information explosion. Welcome to the era of abundance. To understand the sheer scale of this transformation, you really just have to look at this number. 180 zettabytes. By the year 2025, IDC research estimates that the total amount of digital data created worldwide will hit that staggering mark. To put that into perspective for a second, if a single gigabyte were the size of the Earth, a zettabyte would be the size of the sun. We are literally living in an era of absolute information abundance. And on top of all that data, Gartner estimated that an incredible 20.4 billion Internet of Things devices were in use globally by 2020. Think about that. That means smartphones, smartwatches, security cameras, and even your home appliances are constantly generating public and semi-public digital footprints every single second of the day. Now, because of this massive digital explosion, human analysts simply cannot process this scale manually anymore. It's impossible. Modern investigators literally have to train computer models to do the hunting for them. Today's OSINT requires advanced data mining, geographic information systems to map data over physical locations, and artificial intelligence to find hidden anomalies and patterns in this overwhelming ocean of public data. All right, Section 4, OSINT versus other intelligence. Let's compare some of these methods. When we compare intelligence methods, OSINT relies purely on open, legal data. It's information hiding in plain sight. On the other hand, signals intelligence, or SIGINT, deals with intercepting sensitive electronic signals and classified communications. SIGINT requires highly specialized equipment and very strict legal frameworks, whereas OSINT, well, that's accessible to anyone with sharp analytical skills and a decent internet connection. Similarly, let's compare it to human intelligence, or HUMINT. While HUMINT relies on direct interpersonal interactions, think spies, diplomats, or informants, OSINT extracts its intelligence from digital footprints and published media. In fact, it's pretty wild, but intelligence agencies routinely estimate that up to 90% of their useful, actionable intelligence actually comes directly from OSINT sources. Let's move into Section 5, Government and Commercial Applications. Let's see this in the real world. For investigative journalists, OSINT has become one of the absolute most valuable tools out there for exposing untold stories. Instead of sitting around waiting for secret sources to leak classified documents, modern journalists are using open source data. We're talking public flight records, corporate filings, and social media footprints. They use these to uncover the invisible and hold power accountable through deep, verifiable analysis. Meanwhile, governments and militaries leverage OSINT on a truly massive scale. By combining legally accessible public information, like commercial satellite imagery, for instance, with their classified intelligence, they can verify global events, monitor border security, and even respond to natural disasters, all without risking human assets on the ground. Over in the commercial sector, businesses use OSINT to look at their own IT infrastructure, but through the eyes of an attacker. Using frameworks like the MITRE ATTK reconnaissance matrix, they actually map out how a hacker might scan their IP addresses, search for registered domains, or hunt for employee names before ever attempting a breach. So smart enterprise defenders basically flip the script. By proactively using OSINT tools, IT teams can hunt down their own vulnerabilities first. They're out there checking if corporate emails and passwords are floating around in leaked databases on the dark web. They map their own exposed ports, they uncover hidden directories that someone accidentally left public, and they detect unpatched software. OSINT allows them to identify and fix these massive risks long before a malicious actor can exploit them. To pull all of this off, professionals rely on massive toolsets like the OSINT framework. This interactive web categorizes tools to search for 32 different types of objects. It's brilliant. An investigator can start with a single tiny data point, like a username, an email address, or a domain name, and branch out to search public records, dark web resources, and malicious file registries to build a completely comprehensive intelligence profile. And finally, Section 6, Review and Next Steps. Let's wrap this all up. So what are the crucial takeaways for us today? First, OSINT is not just finding data, it's the rigorous analysis of legally acquired public information to create actionable intelligence. Second, it has a surprisingly rich history, but this upcoming explosion to 180 zettabytes of digital data means using automated, technical tools is no longer just optional. And lastly, whether you are a journalist verifying news, a government ensuring public safety, or a business defending against cyber threats, effectively utilizing open source intelligence is an absolute, fundamental necessity. But that leaves us with a massive question, and I really want you to think about this. With so much data out there, how do we practically categorize this endless ocean of information, and what specific technical tools do professionals actually rely on day-to-day to harvest it safely and effectively? Well, we are going to answer exactly that in our next explainer, focusing on open source information categories and OSINT sources, where we will get hands-on with the actual tools of the trade. Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown. I'll see you in the next one.